right. Well, Gabriel Garcia Marquez wrote, "Human beings are not born once and for all on the day their mothers give birth to them. But that life obliges them over and over again to give birth to themselves." So if you've attended LEC on Mother's Day a few times in the past, then you may recall that up until last year, I've always asked Reverend Kim to give the Mother's Day talk. Not only because she's an excellent speaker and had such a beautiful relationship with her mom, but also because I wasn't sure I could give an authentic, uplifting talk about mothers when my own childhood relationship with my mom was full of mama drama. If over the years you've heard my mama drama stories on Mother's Day, you'll be relieved to know that this is the second Mother's Day that I'm not even going to tell one. Because I'm so completely filled with the awareness that I live each day in grace, and that I'm loved and nurtured every moment by the pure energy of love that fills this universe, and that I'm loved along with all of creation. And I know that I'm blessed with a life that's mine to choose every day. Who I'm going to be and how I'm going to be. So on this Mother's Day, I only have happy things to say about the importance of the unique gifts all mothers give, including my own. In fact, today feels to me like the celebration that it's meant to be. I'd actually become bored a few years ago, telling the same old poor, pitiful me stories I'd perfected over time. They were all about the mama drama in my childhood. Plus, at my age, those stories became a bit outdated. I knew it was time for me to do what my mama always told me to do. Get your shoes on, Lucy, you're a big girl now. But even after I'd reached a point where I no longer wanted to tell that old story, I still wasn't clear until last year what story I could tell instead. So often we want to change our story, some story. But since we haven't created a new one yet, we have to be patient and wait for it to call us to it. And it always does at the perfect time. But in the meantime, if we continue to tell the same old story of that's just the way I am because that's the way it was, we won't let our life experience today move very far forward. And forward motion, forward movement for all of us is unlimited and as full of freedom as we let it be. If we're willing to tell a new story that we want to hear, rather than repeating the old story that nobody wants to hear, if we do it with a light touch, so that we're not trying to force ourselves into it, our new story will softly and tenderly call to us from within us and change our mind completely about our life. It will not only cause us to move forward in so many beautiful ways, it will help us to see the old story in a new way, in a different way, in a more helpful way. Now, it's likely by now that we've all noticed through our years and years and years in this particular lifetime that our life pretty much goes the way that we expect it to. It's as if we create our life as we live it by thinking of it in a particular way. And so it only seems logical that if we were to choose to look at our life in a different way, we could change our life experiences with the next thought. And we can. That's true. But sometimes we allow our next thought to look a whole lot like past thoughts and yesterday's thoughts, so that when our life seems to go the way it has always gone, even if we don't like the way it's going, we feel justified in believing whatever we believe about ourselves and life is right. And we're resistant to changing that belief. That's why A Course in Miracles asks us, would you rather be right or happy? I used to jokingly say years ago that I knew I was progressing spiritually when instead of 2 or 3 times, the universe only needed to hit me over the head with a 2x4 just once to get my attention. But after living a long time with mental and emotional bruises caused by my lack of attention, it became clear to me that it wasn't the universe that was causing the painful attention-getting experiences in my life. It was me. All that noise was the static that naturally occurs when we're getting farther and farther away from the frequency of who we truly are. It's the sound of interference in our natural frequency of joy and happiness. It's caused by our resistance to moving forward into more and more good in our life. Resistance is the emotional friction that is caused by our holding a grudge against the past, whether we're holding the grudge against ourselves or we're holding the grudge against someone else. And by our continued focus on what we didn't want then and what we don't want now. But we all know that blaming anyone for our current life or holding them responsible for the choices that we've made along the way up until today only holds us back. Because that kind of thinking denies our power to choose our life for ourselves. That's why the Way of the Heart gives us such an excellent affirmation for owning our power to choose, so that we can live in alignment with who we truly are and live the joyous life that we're created to live. I will let my parents off the hook. I will let my siblings off the hook. I will let my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather off the hook. I will let Adam and Eve off the hook. I will let the government off the hook. and I will love myself enough to heal my separation from God. So are we ready to accept that who we are today, and we've come a long way, baby, and how our life goes for us is our own creation based on our own choices? When we're done with the hard life, we're ready for the good life. If we're willing to do whatever it takes to open our awareness to the truth that our life is now and has always been our own to live, and we accept that both our joy and sorrow were and are wholly self-created, we can look back in honesty and tenderness at the full range of our experiences without blame or shame. We feel free because we free ourselves to create something new through choices that we can now make that are inspired by our joy and our happiness. Though I still love saying that I was a daddy's girl, I've come to peace with the fact that even though I wasn't mama's girl, she was the biggest influence in my early years in causing me to look within myself to find out who I am and to live in alignment with the inner discovery and the continuous unfoldment of that discovery in the joy of just being alive. And there's no greater gift than we can receive from anyone in this world than that. Joy is the key to freedom. It's the key to all that we desire to be, all that we desire to have, all that we desire to do in our life, all of it. Abraham Hicks tells us the certain path to all the things you want is through the corridor of joy. When joy is our vibration of choice, we create a vibrational atmosphere around us that is free of noisy resistance. And in that quiet ease of being, we are able to hear the vibrational voice of our inner being calling to us softly and tenderly, like a nurturing mother. Abraham Hicks likes to give this example when talking about the gentle and encouraging nature of our inner being. When a baby is learning to walk and it falls, we don't say, "Get up, you little dummy." We say, "Come on, you can do it. Look at you learning something new all by yourself." Our inner being is like that. Our inner being knows who we are, loves who we are, and knows what we are capable of, knows what we can do, and is always softly and tenderly encouraging us to move forward. You can do it. Come on. I know you can do it. Look at you. You're learning new things all by yourself. What I've discovered over the years and continue to discover at deeper and deeper levels every day is that my spiritual growth as I live in this human environment doesn't need to hit me like a ton of bricks. It can come as a quiet but certain memory of something as simple as remembering clearly where I put something. Ever have that happen when you just remember where it is when you've been looking for it for days, years? It can come gentle like that. Or it can come as a clear answer to some problem we're having, as a clear solution to that problem, or as a clear guidance when we're trying to make a decision. And sometimes it can come just as a sudden knowing of the answer to the question that you've been asking, the deeper question that you've been asking. Spiritual insight comes without our trying to force it to come. In fact, it comes when we least expect it. While we're just going about our day, feeling happy and joyous and content and peaceful. And then all of a sudden, we know something that we didn't know before. When it no longer seems to us, we need the universe to get our attention in some noisy, painful way, we're right where we need to be to learn great lessons in a quiet, nurturing way. When we're paying attention to the good that is all around us, when we're noticing it, when we're paying attention to it, we don't need a metaphoric universal 2x4 to get our attention. We are paying attention. We are loving, paying attention to it all, and feeling our way each moment to the good that is ours to experience. Alan Watts wrote, "The art of living is neither careless drifting on the one hand, nor fearful clinging to the past on the other. It consists in being sensitive to each moment and in having the mind open and wholly receptive." Namaste.